1952 Chrysler Windsor, located in Quinlan, Texas, valued at $10,500. Grandma is finally ready to sell, and this thing has massive potential. It boasts a newer candy apple red paint job, great upholstery, and comes with a clean Texas title. Now, it is a complete restoration project that ran when parked, so it will need some elbow grease. Under that massive hood, these cars were powered by Chrysler's famous 264.5 cubic inch Spitfire inline-six engine, pushing 119 horsepower. Historically, in 1952, the Windsor served as Chrysler's entry-level luxury car, while the more expensive New Yorker models got the brand-new Hemi V8 engine. The Windsor offered working-class buyers a spacious, high-end interior and a buttery smooth ride, competing directly against Nestle-equipped Buicks and Oldsmobiles. So, is rescuing a pure steel 1950s cruiser is the ultimate anti-status statement. 1949 Ford Anglia, located in Duncan, Oklahoma, valued at $17,000. According to the ad, this Anglia shows 28,000 miles on the odometer and is mostly original. Clawhammer notes that it has been repainted over the years. It's not a flawless trailer queen show car, so it does have some honest scuffs in the paint, but it looks incredibly decent in the photos. Crucially, the interior has been completely redone, and the original wood in the floorboard has already been replaced, which saves a massive headache for the next owner. The seller is only the third owner of this machine. Now, if you look at the mechanical specs under that tiny hood, a stock 1949 Anglia runs a pint-sized, side valve inline-4 engine, paired with a classic 3-speed, manual transmission, making around 23 to 30 horsepower. It's not going to win any drag races in stock form, but it's light, analog, and about as simple as mechanical engineering gets. Let's drop a quick history lesson. The Anglia was actually built by Ford, UK to give post-war Britain an affordable, no-frills family car. In the US, compact cars weren't really a big thing in 1949, but a few of these made it over. Over the decades, they actually became legendary bases for American drag racing asses and hot rods because their bodies were ultra-lightweight. Finding one today that hasn't been chopped up or stuffed with a small block V8 is a miracle. Back in 1949, if you were looking for a truly microscopic, budget-friendly commuter car, you were cross-shopping this Anglia against British rivals like the Morris Minor, the Austin 8, or even America's own Crossley. While the Morris Minor was a bit more modern, the Anglia won people over with its rock-solid Ford mechanical simplicity and that charming, upright design. So, what is the verdict on owning a stock 1949 Ford Anglia right here in 2026? Putting yourself behind the wheel of an analog, lightweight post-war microcar, here's the ultimate counterculture statement. 1951 Buick Roadmaster, located in Conroe, Texas, valued at $19,500. According to the description, this big green cruiser is in great shape, comes with a clean title, and shows just 37,284 miles on the odometer. Under that massive hood sits Buick's absolute masterpiece, the 320 cubic inch Fireball straight 8 engine pumping out 150 horsepower, mated to their ultra-smooth Dynaflow automatic transmission. It's got that signature chrome side trim, and for iconic venti ports on the front fenders that scream peak luxury. Historically, in 1951, the Roadmaster was Buick's absolute flagship model. Back then, if you were a successful professional looking for a prestigious ride, you were cross-shopping this beast against the Oldsmobile 98 or the Chrysler New Yorker. While the Chrysler had its new Hemi engine, the Buick won buyers over with its unrivaled magic carpet, ride quality and distinct, flowing body lines, rolling down the boulevard in a heavy, pure steel, straight 8-powered time capsule. It is the ultimate anti-status statement. It's pure class. 1974 Mercedes-Benz 230 W114, located in Houston, Texas, valued at $16,900. It features a stunning, deep burgundy exterior paired with a rich caramel leather interior for under 17 grand. A classic Euro cruiser in this condition immediately caught my attention. Let's message the seller, Ollie, and break down why this specific listing is a massive deal. This is a highly preserved, highly functional classic. Here are the core specs and highlights directly from the listing. It features only 74,000 original miles on the clock, which is practically nothing for a vintage Mercedes engine. Under that long hood is a rock-solid 2.3-litre gasoline inline-4 engine, paired with a smooth automatic transmission. It comes with a leather interior in excellent condition, a functioning sunroof that works perfectly, and cold at sea that blows well, which is a mandatory requirement if you're driving around Texas. The car has passed state inspection, rides on brand new tires, and has great brakes. To seal the deal, Ollie is including the original toolkit, the spare tire, the original owner's manual, and a massive folder of service records and receipts. Finding a vintage European car with full paperwork and receipts is the ultimate green flag. Let's drop a quick history lesson on the W114 platform. Designed by the legendary Paul Bracq, the W114 and W115 chassis were affectionately known as the Stroke 8 models. This era marked a turning point for Mercedes-Benz, establishing their global reputation for producing bulletproof, ultra-reliable luxury executive sedans. Back in 1974, if you were a successful executive looking for a mid-size luxury car, you were cross-shopping this Mercedes 230 against heavy hitters like the newly released BMW E12, 5 Series or a Volvo 164, while the BMW offered a sportier, more aggressive driving dynamic, and the Volvo brought quirky Scandinavian style. The Mercedes W114 stood completely alone in terms of sheer build quality. The doors on these cars closed with the reassuring thud of a bank vault. They were radically over-engineered, using high-quality metals and mechanical systems designed to run forever. So, sliding into the driver's seat of this analog W114, feeling the tactile click of real mechanical switches, and cruising down the highway with that classic three-pointed star leading the ways, the ultimate palate cleanser. For $16,900, you're buying an investment that turns heads everywhere it goes. 1934 Ford Roadster, located in Phoenix, Arizona, valued at $43,000. Let's look at the seller's description to see the insane build sheet. This isn't cheap fiberglass. It's a real steel body sitting on a premium Roy Brizio extended frame and suspension. Under the hood, it's rocking a vintage V8 engine block pulled straight from a 1953 Ford F100 pickup. Inside, Ron added modern leather bucket seats with shoulder belts, a custom wood dash, and a hidden sound system. He's even throwing in extra spoked wheels. Historically, the 34 Ford was a street terror. If you were buying a car back in 1934, you were cross-shopping this against a Chevy Master 6 or a Plymouth Pay. While they had decent inline engines, Ford's affordable, rumbling flathead V8 blew them off the road, instantly cementing its legacy in hot rod and bootlegging culture. So, rumbling past in a bright red, steel-bodied V8 Roadster is the ultimate rebel flex. It's pure mechanical art. Would you drop 43 grand on this Arizona beauty? Let me know in the comments. We've covered 5 cars so far. Which one do you think is the best buy for 2026? Let me know your pick in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for another Hidden Gems classic car finds. 1958 Jaguar XK150, located in Fort Worth, Texas, valued at $63,500, dressed in a brilliant, clean white coat over classic chrome wire wheels. This thing exudes old-school European elegance. Let's look at the description to see what the seller, Spencer, has to say about this rare beast. According to the ad, this classic has 89,000 miles on the odometer and is described as a very rare car. Under that long, sculpted hood sits Jaguar's legendary 3.4-litre twin overhead come-straight 6 engine, which originally pumped out anywhere from 190 to 210 horsepower. It was also pioneering tech for its day, being one of the very first production cars to feature four-wheel disc brakes. Now, check out the price and trade terms. Spencer is asking 63 grand, but he notes he's actually up for some trades. Let's drop a quick history lesson. The XK150 was the final, most refined evolution of Jaguar's post-war XK sports car family, succeeding the legendary XK120 and XK140 back in 1958. If you had deep pockets and a craving for a high-speed grand touring, you were cross-shopping this British beauty against exotic heavyweights like the Porsche 356 or the Chevrolet Corvette. While the Corvette offered raw American V8 power, the Jag completely dominated when it came to sophisticated luxury, top-tier handling, and pure racing pedigree. 1955 Chevrolet 150 Handyman Vago, located in Taylor, Texas, valued at $32,500, dressed in a gorgeous red paint job with a clean white top and classic chrome wheels. This long-roof cruiser immediately stands out. According to the listing, this Restomod wagon was originally built back in the 90s, but it has tons of recent updates. Under that iconic hood sits a proven 350 small block V8, paired with a smooth shifting 700R4 automatic overdrive transmission, the perfect highway combo for comfort and modern drivability. It features power steering and power brakes, an edited tilt steering column, an AM/FM radio with Bluetooth connectivity. Frank mentions he spent the last 3 years heavily updating the steering, brakes, and suspension. He's been averaging about 250 miles a week on it. Has successfully completed the long haul on 3 hot rod power tour. 1955 was a legendary year for Chevy, debuting the famous Tri-5 generation with its radical new styling and the first generation small block V8. While the upscale Bel Air Nomad got all the glamour, the 150 Handyman was the rugged, no-nonsense two-door utility wagon built for working people. Back in '55, you were cross-shopping this Handyman against a Ford mainline, ranch wagon, or a Plymouth Suburban. While Ford had great styling and Plymouth offered utility, Chevy absolutely crushed the competition on the street the moment they dropped that higher PM small block V8, creating an instant hot rod icon. 1976 AMC Pacer, located in Houston, Texas, valued at $12,900, complete with that bright blue paint and the legendary flame decal on the side. This thing screams 1990s movie nostalgia. According to the listing, the seller kicks things off with a classic party on Garth and confirms the car is fully back up and running. Here is the breakdown of this rolling fishbowl. It is packing a 3.8-litre inline-6 engine, paired with a 3-speed automatic transmission, which was actually rebuilt by the previous owner about 7 years ago. It shows a very reasonable 73,400 miles on the odometer. It comes decked out with Wayne's World items, including the flame decal, Patillon plates, and a working CD player. They also added a retro Bluetooth stereo with 3 new speakers and a 10-inch slim-powered subwoofer so you can properly blast Bohemian Rhapsody. The seller just dropped some serious cash this month, in July 2026, adding a brand new carburetor, a new water pump, fresh belts, fuel lines, radiator hoses, and a new thermostat. Let's drop a quick history lesson. When AMC released the Pacer, they marketed it as the first wired small car. It was as wide as a massive luxury sedan, but as short as a subcompact. Back in the mid-70s, you were cross-shopping this quirky bubble against cars like the Ford Pinto, the Chevrolet Vega, or the newly introduced Volkswagen Rabbit. While the Pinto and Vega were traditional, cramped economy cars, the Pacer offered massive interior room and unbelievable visibility, thanks to its unique, asymmetrical glass design. So, for just under 13 grand, you aren't just buying a vintage hatchback, you're buying a rolling party. 1977 Pontiac Grand Prix, located in Council Bluffs, AA valued at $9,900. The seller, Jamie Klein, states it's a one-owner, Fully stock car except for the paint. Under that massive hood, this thing is packing a heavy-hitting for 100 cubic inch V8 with a 4-barrel carburetor and a new exhaust system. It's even got a super rare factory CB radio. Now, it's a real driver, so it does need the rear half of its vinyl roof put back on after its paint job, and the AC and cruise control currently don't work. But for under 10 grand, a one-owner 400 V8 is a wild find. Historically, 1977 was a massive year for Pontiac. This was the absolute final year of the big, heavy, full-size, 4th-gen Grand Prix before GM downsized everything for 78. Back then, it fought tooth and nail against rivals like the Chevy Monte Carlo and the Ford Thunderbird, dominating the boulevard with its sharp, aggressive V-shaped grille. So, would you pull the trigger on this one-owner Iowa classic? Let me know in the comments. 1960 Ford Falcon, located in Murray, KY, valued at $10,000. But if you do have the cash, this sedan is an unbelievable deal. It features a reliable 6-cylinder engine paired with a smooth automatic transmission. Patrick notes it has just 24,000 actual miles and is completely original aside from one high-quality repaint. Mechanically, it's show-ready with 0 leaks, a fresh tune-up, and brand new white wall tires. Everything works flawlessly. Historically, 1960 was the exact debut year for the Ford Falcon, spearheaded by Robert McNamara to fight the influx of small European imports. Back then, if you wanted an affordable economy car, you were cross-shopping this against the Chevrolet Corvair or the Plymouth Valiant. While the Corvair went crazy with a rear-engine setup, the Falcon won America over by being simple, incredibly durable, and wonderfully for just 10 grand is the ultimate anti-status statement. It's got infinite charm,